All right. So, why does Social Security penalize seniors for going back to work? And how can you avoid that penalty? How can you avoid the overpayment that often comes with working while you're receiving early retirement? And this is for retirement benefits, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, disability benefits. That's a completely different animal. Those are have different work limitations. I've talked about that a few times. But today we're going to talk about working and collecting benefits early retirement. What happens if you get the overpayment? What happens if you do go back to work? Does your benefit get changed later? We'll talk about all that today. And this is also a live Q&A because there's exceptions, the exceptions, the exceptions. I'll talk about the different categories, the different kind of strategies for about 10 minutes or so. And then I'm going to open it up to all things Social Security. So if you have any questions on Social Security or retirement, disability, Medicare, Medicaid, anything like that, make sure you put it in the chat and we'll get to as many as we possibly can. Okay, so why is there work limitation during early retirement? Well, this started back in 1935 when FDR started Social Security to begin with. He said it was going to be a replacement. Social Security was going to be a replacement for lost wages because of losing your job or becoming disabled or whatever the case, the economy. So they're a replacement for wages. So if you're still making wages, there shouldn't be a replacement, is the argument. That obviously changes once you hit your full retirement age. Once you hit your full retirement age, next year it's going up for those born in 1960 and after. Your full retirement age is 67 years old. There were just a Senate vote yesterday. I'm going to be talking about what happened yesterday and what's happening today with the Senate and the House of Representatives in terms of Social Security. But there was an attempt to raise the retirement age to 70 years old, and luckily that got slapped down pretty summarily, pretty well. Um, and another reason there's this limitation is a financial stability of Social Security versus, the program as a safety net. It's supposed to be a safety net in terms of, if you lose your job, you become disabled, there's a safety net there that Social Security will provide. And then there's also the financial stability of Social Security in and of itself. That's one of the reasons there is that limitation, is because if everybody took it at 62 and continued to work, then the trust fund is already expired. It's set to expire at about 2033, 2034. With the new changes, it's going to be expiring about 6 months earlier. And there's going to be more cuts. I'll talk about that later, not in this one, but I'm going to talk about it in another video. I've talked about it previously as well. So the limits are to discourage people from claiming benefits early, and the program goal is to provide income replacement. Also, kind of prevents double dipping. That's the theory, anyway. That again, you're collecting Social Security and you're working. So it basically encourages these delayed benefits. And again, when you hit your full retirement age, there's no limits whatsoever for 2025. Okay, so the limitations. Let's make sure people out there don't get, don't get that penalty, because a lot of people are surprised. They don't know how to work around the system. For 2025, you're limited to the amount of money you can make and collect early retirement. That is before your full retirement age. Next year, it is $23,400. So anything over $23,400, Social Security holds back $1 for every $2 you go over. Okay. The year you turn your full retirement age, that year, the limit goes up quite a bit. So if your full retirement age is in July, the first 6 months from January till June, you can make $62,160. And anything over that, Social Security holds back $1 for every $3 you go over. Not $2, but $3 you go over. And then once you hit, again, your full retirement age, you can go back to making $1 billion a month, right? All right, so no relevance. What a lot of people miss is that there is, particularly this time of year, a lot of people, when I've taken hundreds of thousands of retirement claims, and this is the busy part of the season because people want to go ahead and start their benefits in January because, starting next year, they're going to go under their annual earnings limit and everything. So they figure they're going to start in January. And quite often, I said, well, why didn't you start in October or November? So, well, I went over the annual earnings limit. So that's why I'm starting in January. Well, no, I actually just lost 2 or 3 checks. Obviously, anytime you take money from Social Security, it's reduced a little bit, but you also get those checks. But a lot of people make the mistake in thinking that the annual earnings limit is it. No, there's also called the monthly earnings limit. Yes, it's all too confusing. Okay, so the monthly earnings limit, and you still have this chance. You still have a chance out there. If you're one of those people that is going to start your benefits in January because you thought you couldn't because you were working. Let's say you called Social Security in October to schedule an appointment. And right now, because they're going to basically a reservation only system with Social Security, which is just terrible customer service, and the politicians, that's exactly what they want, is terrible customer service. So you give up and, give it to Wall Street, their buddies at Wall Street. But anyway, I digress. But if you called up in October and your appointment is, next week or something, or in January, and you want to start your benefits January, think about this. You might be able to start your benefits in October because that's when you called. And it depends on when you stopped working. So for this year, it's 1860. So the first month you earned under $1,860. Next year, it's the first month you go under $1,950. It doesn't matter what you made before. So let's say this year, October, from January until September, you made $1 billion. That's way over 23,000, right? You made $1 billion. But in October, you stopped working and you stopped making $100 million a month. You started making under $1,860. So that's you can start your Social Security check in October, as long as you stay under the monthly limit for the rest of the year. 1860, 1860, 1860. Same thing for next year, under 1950, $1,950, 1950, 1990. The first month you go under the monthly limit, you can start collecting your Social Security checks. It doesn't matter what you made before. And then the following year, you can't do that again. You can only do that one time. You can only do the monthly earnings limit thing one time. Next year, you have the year after, you have to stay under the annual earnings limit. But a lot of people are missing checks because they think they can't get it because they worked. All right, another thing. What happens if you do go back to work? So you work, and after about a year, your old boss calls you up and say, yeah, we really miss you. Come on back and we'll pay you 3 times what you paid before. And you're like, okay, fine. So you go back to work, or you're considering go back to work and say, well, I guess I can't go back to work because I'm receiving Social Security. And so I can't work. No, you can't. There's a few ways to stop your benefits. One is you can withdraw it within 12 months that you start your application, you start receiving benefits. You call up Social Security and say, I want to withdraw my application. And they said, okay, you have to pay your money back. If you withdraw, it's like it never happened. You never applied. So because you never applied, you never got that money theoretically, right? So you're supposed to pay all that money back. As soon as you pay all that money back, they withdraw the application. It's like it never happened. You never walked in the Social Security office and you're done. You're not receiving Social Security benefits. You never did. That has to happen within 12 months. Okay. So that's one option to stop. Another option to suspend your benefits is just to call and say, yeah, I've been receiving my benefits for a couple of years, but I got bored like Ed. Ed sucks at retirement. He retired for about a week and here he is again. I'm not as terrible as Ed, but I enjoyed my life for 2 years. So you call up and say, hey, it's been 2 years, but I got a great job. I want to go ahead and take it. And they'll just ask you, it says, okay, how much are you going to make? Oh, I'm going to make $80,000. Okay. They'll stop your check. They'll suspend your checks. So you won't receive those checks. You won't receive an overpayment. There's a way to strategic overpay. If you're going to make 24,000, 25,000, 26,000 or so, just a little bit over, but you're not 100% sure how much over you're going to be, there's one way that you can do it. You can just say, forget about it. I'll just let it ride. And then what happens is next year, when you file your taxes, talk to your friends at the IRS, you file your taxes, you pay them your ounce of blood, and they will notify Social Security that, hey, this person made, $25,000 or whatever. So let's say you make $1,000 over, then Social Security, once they find out, they will send you a nice little nasty gram that says, "Hey, you made $1,000 more than you told us. Um, you owe us $500." And at that time, you just cut the check for $500. Almost nobody cuts the check. They set up a payment plan, and it's interest free. So there's that. So you can just kind of let it ride. That's why there's a lot of myths out there that politicians use. Oh, Social Security is so terrible. They don't know what they're doing. They have billions of dollars of overpayments. They're paying people wrong every single day. What are these people doing? They're so incompetent and da da da. It's another reason, another kind of excuse they use to say, well, we would support you and get you more resources so you can help people, but you suck at your job, so we're not going to help you. Therefore, we're going to make it worse, and so we can give it over to Wall Street. Again, a lot of these overpayments are purposeful, strategic overpayments that people do. If you're going to make, $50,000, $100,000 over that, I wouldn't suggest that. So unless you want to cut a whole big check or whatever the case may be. But if you're just a few $1,000s over, that's a good strategic way to do it. Okay, so what about those months? Do you ever get those months back? Yes. It's called the adjusted reduction factor, ARF, not ALF from the 80s, but ARF. So basically what it is, if you started your benefits, let's say 30 months early, so you're reduced by 30 months. Every month you take your benefits from Social Security early, you're reduced a month. Okay. So you get your benefits and your benefits are reduced by 30 months and you go along, and after a couple of years you say, well, no, I want to go back to work. So you go back to work, you suspend your benefits, you don't get checks for 20 months. What happens is once you hit your full retirement age, the Social Security computer system looks at this. This is 100% automatic. You don't have to do anything. Once you hit your full retirement age, the computer system looks at your record and says, hey, this person is reduced by 30 months, but they only took 10 months worth of benefits. So what they do is they add those 20 months back into it. So from then on, for the rest of your life, your monthly benefit amount is only reduced by 10 months. Okay. All right. So that is 100% automatic. So, and what about, and then obviously you still get your COLA like everybody else. Everybody always wonders do I get my COLA? Do I get my COLA in my estimate? Do I get my COLA if I'm receiving survivor benefits? Yes, everybody receives the COLA. It's a whole exciting 2.5% for next year. But anyway, what about if you continue to work? Does that increase your Social Security benefit? Yes, it does. If it's one of the high 35 years of earnings. So if you're 65 years old, 75 years old, 85 years old, and you continue to work and pay into Social Security, then Social Security, again, once you talk to your friends at the IRS notifies Social Security and says, hey, this person made $80,000 last year. And the Social Security computer system looks at it and says, hey, $80,000, is this one of this person's high 35 years of earnings? And if it is, they kick out the low one, stick in the new one, recalculate, and you get a benefit increase. That usually takes a little bit of time. The COLA increases you get, immediately, basically January. The recalculation of your benefits based on the high 35 years, that takes a while because you first have to file your taxes and then the IRS notifies the Social Security. So sometimes you don't get that benefit until like October, but you do get the retro. So if they say, hey, your benefit amount is an extra $10, they'll give you, and it takes them till October, they'll give you a $100 lump sum check that says, hey, you increased your benefits starting January, $10, $10, $10. Here's $100. And from now on, we'll pay you extra $10 a month going forward. So that is basically, again, once you hit your FRA, full retirement. Oh, there's the last way you can stop your benefits is one that most people don't know about. It's called voluntary delayed retirement credits. So just before you hit your full retirement age, if you want to suspend your benefits, you can. You stop your benefits. And so you can get those delayed retirement credits. What are delayed retirement credits? Those are 8% every year you wait to collect benefits after your full retirement age. So if you wait for 3 years, you get 24% added to your check up until 70. Remember, please, nobody starts their benefits after 70 years old because you're losing money. So if you know anybody that's, I unfortunately people, contact me all the time, come in here during the live Q&A and say, hey, I'm 72 years old. When should I start my Social Security benefits? And I'm like, 2 years ago. So yeah, there's unfortunately a lot of people that get misinformation. And because Social Security is so understaffed, 50-year low in terms of staffing, they're not able to help as much as they should, as they need to. So I've got a petition down there in the chat. I'll put it's in the description as well on the video. Please sign the petition. One petition is for the politicians to support Social Security so they can help you get the benefits you earned. So I don't have to keep doing this. I don't mind doing this, but Social Security should be helping you out. And the other one is to not privatize Social Security and increase the cap, which I've talked about a few times. So if you're interested in that, please sign and make sure you subscribe and like and share and all that kind of good information. If you know somebody in your family that you're not sure if they're getting the right benefit amount, please share this channel with them. Okay, let's go into what is the full retirement age of born in 1958? 66 and something. Yeah, I think I've got the chart there somewhere, but um, let's see here. Might take a little bit to pop it up there. Full retirement age chart. There we go. All right, and let me answer a question while I'm waiting for that to pop up. There it is right there. 1958, years of 66 and 8 months. How can I collect Social Security, still work, and not be penalized? Exactly that. Just stay under the yearly limit. If you're in your second year of receiving benefits, next year you have to stay under $23,400. And what counts? Wages. Does your 401k distributions count? No. Does rental income? No, unless you're a realtor. Does gambling income count? No, unless you're a professional gambler. So there's exceptions, and all things Social Security. That's what makes it all a nightmare. But just wages or net income for business is what they look at for that 23,400. So as long as you're under that, you are completely golden. All right, let's get rid of this thing here. Let's see. All right, this is a one-man operation, so you have to be patient sometimes. Just me and my son, and then I partnered with Chapter Medicare. They're helping people with all things Medicare. I help people with Social Security, retirement, disability, survivor benefits, Medicaid, Medicare Part A and Part B. They help people with Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, and Medicare Part D plan. So if you need help, reach out to them. So I'm trying to also add veterans. I've talking to someone, even though I'm a veteran myself, I'm not too familiar with all the other type of veterans benefits. So I'm trying to provide a resource for everybody, all kinds of things. All right, let's see. I'm on SSDI. Can my husband file on my Social Security at 63 while waiting for his FRA? No, the way you put it, no. Unless he cancels his SSDI. If he stops his disability because he's waiting for his full retirement benefits at full retirement age, he has to stop receiving disability. Just continue to receive his disability because he's basically receiving his full retirement age benefit now, because that's what you get when you file for disability. So continue to receive disability. But your question is, can he file for benefits on your record? Yes. Even if he's receiving disability benefits, has no relevance whatsoever. A lot of people miss this. Tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars are probably lost because people think because they're on disability, they can't collect spouse benefits or divorce spouse benefits or surviving spouse benefits. They can. If they were currently married to the person for 10 years, if it's a divorce type situation, married to the person for 9 months, if it's a surviving spouse type of situation. So your husband, if you have to be collecting Social Security benefits, Ethel Joe, you have to be collecting Social Security benefits. As soon as you start your benefits, he can check to see if he's entitled to benefits on your record. He's married, so that's check one. Good. Now, his benefit amount has to be less than your full benefit amount. Your full benefit amount if you waited till your full retirement age. If his is less than half of yours, then he can collect a spouse benefit. So up to 50%. He's 63, so it's going to be reduced. Again, remember, every time you collect benefits early from Social Security, it's almost always reduced. So what I would recommend, if you have already started your Social Security benefits, or if you're about to, as soon as you do, hand the phone to him and say, hey, Ethel Joe's husband, see if you can get some more money from me. And then if he does, then he owes you a vacation, right? All right. Why is the government not paying Social Security during the shutdown next year? In all shutdowns I was privy to since my retirement, we still received our Social Security on time. Yeah, Social Security always. I did a video on this yesterday, but luckily they did fund the government, I think, until March. And every shutdown I've been through, when I ran my Social Security office, we always, the checks always went. There was a few things that the local Social Security offices couldn't provide, but checks and stuff like that wasn't an issue. So, all right. What happens to those petitions everyone is signing and when? Yeah, once we get a good number, I just checked yesterday. I think we've got like 1,500 or so on each one of them. And considering this is a national thing, I don't think 1,500 signatures is really going to do anything. We're going to need good numbers. So I've got close to 240,000 subscribers to this channel. So if everybody sign the petitions, then we will go ahead and submit them. And, it's the petitions, and it's also, bringing this information to light that, hey, politicians, we're watching you, right? Just wondered if anything good is being done to help SSI and to protect it from the regime coming in January. Just to be clear, SSI is supplemental security income. That's the welfare-based program that, comes out of general tax revenues. But what you mean is Social Security. Yes. I just did a video yesterday that it's getting some good views on kind of the 7-point plan to privatize Social Security. So again, information is critical. We have to be aware of what they're doing. And some people say, don't talk about it now. It hasn't been done. Well, if I talk about it when it's already done, it's already too late. Why talk about it after it's already done? So yeah, some people, you just can't make everybody happy. So, but yes, watch the video I did yesterday. It's my plan to save Social Security. It's got a picture of President Trump because that's the last key. People say you can't blame President Trump. I'm not. I'm saying 6 out of the 7 steps to privatize Social Security are already done. The last step is to get the president, any president, whether it's him or whoever it is, to sign off on it. That's the last step. So we need to make sure that, he doesn't. So if a person has been on Medicaid since a child, does child have Medicaid for life? Yeah, it depends if Medicaid is still around here. That's one of the big things that's going to be a target going forward. That's always been a target. Medicaid Medicaid is different than Medicare. So Medicaid is administered by the states. It's paid by federal and state funding, and it's a welfare-based program, low income, low resources, health and care program. Medicare is the one you pay into, FICA. When you pay your FICA, part goes to Social Security, part goes to Medicare. That's the one that you sign up at the Social Security Administration, Part A and Part B. But a lot of people don't know that you can have Medicaid and Medicare. You can have both of them. And if you have both of them, you have what's called you're dual eligible. And please share this with people. Again, I want people to watch this and don't think of themselves. Think of all the people around you, all your family and friends that, waitress down, that's the person that cuts your hair. And yeah, people go to get their hair cut. I don't understand that. Anyway, for at least last few decades, I don't understand it. Anyway, but watch out for other people around you. If you hear someone having a hard time paying for their Part B premium, tell them to sign up for Medicaid. Reach out to Medicaid in their state. It's either Department of Social Services or Department of Welfare or Medicaid office, whatever they call it in your state. Tell them to sign up for Medicaid, see if they're qualified. And if they're qualified at the higher level, then the Medicaid will pay for your Part B premium, that $185, and that'll put an extra $185 into your pocket. And then you'll get a lot more benefits, and then you're eligible for what's called a Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan. And people that watch my channel know I always recommend Medicare supplements first. Medicare Plan N, Medicare Supplement Plan N, or Plan G. But if you have a Medicare Advantage, or excuse me, if you have Medicare and Medicaid, then you can't get a Medicare supplement plan. So your only thing you can get is a Medicare Advantage, which is really good if you have um, Medicare and Medicaid. Those are the ones that you see advertised with all the grocery cards, the $1,000 a month and free ice cream and unicorns and stuff. They advertise them in a really scammy way, but they do exist. So if you want to see if you're eligible for one of those Medicare Advantage, dual eligible plans, a Medicare supplement, again, reach out to Chapter, 100% free help. But yeah, Chris, if the child is on Medicaid, if the child wins a lottery and makes gets $1 billion, then no, there's Medicaid is going to stop. So it's low income, low resources. And there's also if Medicaid has funding. So that's also an issue as well. But if, if the child needs health care, then low income, low resources, hopefully your state continues Medicaid. So it's important that you reach out to your politicians in your state and says, don't succumb to Medicaid cuts. If you lose Medicaid, the only other option is the Affordable Care Act, marketplace insurance, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it. Let me see. 2033 Social Security possible decrease of 20 to 33%. Does that mean 28 to 33% would be taken from anyone already receiving benefits or from anyone who would start receiving after that law was initiated? By law, if so what he's talking about, or he or she, is right now, well, actually, as of yesterday, before I guess it's still right now because the president hasn't signed that, Social Security Fairness Act. So as of right now, if nothing is done by 2034, everybody. So it's not if you're receiving benefits now or if you're going to receive benefits in the future, everybody's going to get a 21% cut because that's when the trust fund runs out, is in 2034. Once the president signs that Social Security Fairness Act, it's going to run out 6 months earlier and there's going to be more cuts. So probably 22, 23% or something cuts because there's $190 billion going to these government workers. If the next president gets some of the things he's talking about, tariffs, cutting Social Security taxes and stuff like that, then the cuts are going to happen even sooner and it's going to be 33%. And again, this is just not me just babbling on. Well, it is me babbling on, but you can look, I put in the reference in the description on YouTube. You can look at the description and it tells you exactly from the Center for Financial Responsibility, how much the tariffs will cost, how much this would cost. And the Social Security trustees report is also in the description, so you can read it yourself. So these are official reports. And a lot of people think, well, I'll be grandfathered in. No, because by law, when the trust fund runs out, then that's stopping that gap. Right now, if there was zero trust fund, then there would already be cuts of 15, 16, 17%. So your checks would be less right now, today. But because there's a trust fund, we're pulling out of that trust fund. Last year, they pulled $70 billion out of that trust fund to pay checks. This year, probably 70, 80, 90, $100 billion or something. And then by 2034, 2031, or 2031, 33 or 31, that trust fund is empty. So the only thing that could be paid out is what's brought in. So if it's 70% of money is brought in, then you can't pay 100% because you don't have 100%. You only have 70% to pay. So only people that receive 70%. So that's why we need to act now to fix it. So yes, make sure I suggest we raise the cap on FICA, not increase, your FICA, but the people that don't pay FICA. So I've talked about this several times before. I was on disability, got $473 a month. When my ex-husband died, I was supposed to get widow's pension. 2020, my husband was getting 646 widows. So one offsets the other. So whatever you receive from your own record, that will offset what you receive from a spouse. So if you're receiving, let's say, to make it easy, if you're receiving $500 and then your spouse passes away and his benefit amount was $1,000 and so you're full retirement age, you'll get another $500. So you'll continue to get your $500 plus another $500. So one offsets the other, unless you're one of those 3% of people that just won their political movement. They don't get offset like the other 97% of us. They get a up to a 90% return on their investment into Social Security, while the regular schmoes here, we get 50% return on our investment in Social Security. So it's completely, yeah. So anyway, how strong is the Section 8 program? I remember once you mentioned it. I wish it was a lot stronger. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that, the 40 or 50% of people just live on Social Security alone, and it's tough. And I've done a video on this a few weeks ago, living on Social Security alone. I've put out like 50 different programs. One of those is Section 8 to help, maybe ends meet, make your life a little bit easier. So make sure you watch that video on 50 ways to. I was about to Neil Sedaka, 50 ways to leave your lover. But no, 50 ways to make your life a little bit easier. But Section 8, yeah, it needs to be a lot stronger. But always be careful on Section 8. Be persevere. Because sometimes, you contact Section 8 and there's like a 3-year wait in some places. But if you're homeless, you've got kids, you're a veteran, you can be jumped up on that list. Make sure you give them all the information. And sometimes, I know a few months ago, the federal government came down and gave some extra money to Section 8 organizations throughout the country. And so they had extra money. And so you contact them, every now and then, says, okay, I'm still here. Has anything popped up in my particular area? And they'll say, wow, we just interesting. You should call us today. We just got some money and we need to spend it by the end of the fiscal year, the quarter, or whatever like that. So always keep up on them. And yeah, we definitely need more affordable housing out there. My adult son receives SSDI, signed for Medicare January 25. He has Medicaid, my retiree health insurance, and union benefits, drugs, dental, and optical. Will he be forced to take Medi Part C as he is dual eligible? Pretty much, yeah. If he's dual eligible, then the Medicare supplement, because the thing is, Medicare supplements, the Plan N or the Plan G, there's a monthly premium for those. And the idea is, okay, you're paying, let's say you get a Plan G, and you're paying $100 a month. So that health insurance company is getting $100 a month, but they don't have to pay out anything because everything is covered by Medicare and Medicaid. So the health insurance company is, just getting a free $100. So, they said, no, so you can't sign up for Medicare supplement because you don't need it. So it's a Medicare Advantage plan. But again, yeah, there is limited doctors and the prior authorizations and all the rest of it. And a lot of states, if you're on disability, you're under the age of 65 and you have Medicare, you can't even get a Medicare supplement plan because your state doesn't make the health insurance company provide it to you. They do, prior, pre-existing conditions, which is a thing. It used to be a big thing in United States. In most countries, a pre-existing condition is just called your medical your medical history. But anyway, yeah, it's sorry, gallows humor there, old Marine Corps sergeant. It's just you have to laugh in order to not cry sometimes. But if you're under 65 and you have Medicare, in a lot of states, you can't even get a Medicare supplement plan. You have to get a Medicare Advantage plan. Once you turn 65, then you can get a Medicare supplement plan and they cannot deny you, they cannot ask you health questions or anything like that. They cannot charge you extra. So if you're on disability and you're about to turn 65, definitely check out a Medicare supplement plan and see if it's right for you again, or you can reach out to Chapter there. Thank you so much for doing the live stream today. You're welcome. What do you think about the "You Earned It, You Keep It" Act, allowed payments till 2054? Yeah, that's basically the no taxes, which, yeah, the taxes on Social Security benefits. Um, it, I think it never should have started. It started in the early 1980s under Reagan. Thomas Tip O'Neill, they came up with a deal to, hey, baby boomers are going to need money in the future, so we need to sock some money away. So one of the things they did is tax Social Security benefits. If they got rid of the taxes, which I'm completely good with, in my opinion. But it's not going to help the people that really need the help, the 40 or 50%, because they don't pay taxes. The lower 40, 50% that just people that receive Social Security alone, they don't pay taxes. That's not going to help them. It's the people that have other income and other work and all the rest of it. They're the ones that pay taxes. But when they pay those taxes on Social Security benefits, that money comes back into the Social Security Trust Fund. So that money will stop. And so that's another however many months or however many percentage cut in the future. So I have no problem with, personally, of taxes not being taken out, but we have to fill that gap somehow, or there's going to be more cuts sooner in the future. um I get $645 a month. I got widows. Okay, I already kind of, he died 20. Okay, I already kind of answered that about the offset and stuff. So the 3% of people is going to cost the rest of the disabled people their income. Yeah, because it's $190 billion over 10 years. So it's going to exhaust the trust fund about 6 months earlier. And it's also going to cause cuts more. Yeah. So, all right. Once President Biden signs the Social Security Fairness Act, how do the people affected proceed? I'm going to be doing a video on that later today. So it might come out later today or tomorrow. I'm going to talk about what's, kind of the mechanics of it going forward. I called for an appointment to see what my full retirement age would be. They were to call me back December 18th at 9 o'clock. They never called me back. Do I just keep calling? Wow. Yeah, they dropped the ball there. Um, they were supposed to call you back. So that particular office, yeah, my office, we always called people back almost within exact 9. If you said 9 o'clock, it was, called back at 8:58 or 9:02. But some offices out there aren't run by an old Marine Corps sergeant. So there's that. Yeah, unfortunately, you have to call them back, and you're protected though. And this is called a protective filing. Anytime you call Social Security, so let's say you called them in October and they were supposed to call you back December 18th. You call them again and they said, okay, oh, sorry, we missed it, and yada, yada, yada. But their next appointment we have is in January. So if you actually wanted to start your benefits in October, when you go and see them in January, they'll say, here's a benefit amount. And you say, by the way, I want my benefits to start in October when I first called, and they'll be able to start your benefits in October. Obviously, your October check won't come until November, but you'll get those months of back pay. So, all right, let's see. I'm jumping around a little bit. Got a lot of questions. And 62 in January. Husband is 3 years younger, but is a higher earner. He filed for disability. If approved, I will get half of his full retirement age. Is it automatic, or do I have to request? It's not automatic. So when he filed for his disability, he mentioned you, I'm sure, that he's married and everything. And then when his benefits start, then you're at least 62. Yep, you're 62. So you can start if his benefits start in January, his disability benefits start in January. You can start your benefits in February because you have to be 62 the entire month, unless you were born on the first or the second or something. So, all right. What happens to a completely disabled person who is receiving survivor benefits from deceased father and has been disabled all their life, never worked? Yeah, so that's called a disabled person receiving survivor from a deceased father has been able to all their life. Okay, so all their life. So if you are what's called a DAC, a disabled adult child, which means you became disabled before the age of 22, you can collect benefits on a parent's record, either one. If that parent is receiving retirement benefits, disability benefits, or if they're deceased. So if so, you have a deceased father. So I would definitely contact Social Security and file for DAC benefits, disabled adult child benefits, and you will get 75% of your father's full benefit amount. But you have to prove that you became disabled before the age of 22. So, Jerry, I am using my widow benefits and I'm thinking about using my benefits at 70 years old. Is that doable? Yes. So that is a good strategy that you can collect, widow's benefits, surviving spouse benefits, widower benefits, all basically the same. So you can start surviving spouse benefits at 60 years old and collect that money. You don't touch yours and you just let yours increase. You can start yours at 62 if it's a lot more, or you can wait for another year until it's increased more, all the way until you're 70 years old, get those, delayed retirement credits. So continue to get your surviving widow's benefits there. And in the future, when the benefits on your record is where you're at, where you want it, then you just jump over onto yours. Um, and people think, well, what about Medicare? Medicare will be automatic. If you're on any type of benefits, if you're on retirement benefits, just spouse benefits, just surviving spouse benefits, once you hit 65 years old, about 100 days before you hit 65, Medicare will send you your package in the mail automatically. But be careful when you hit 65, every health insurance company in the nation knows you're turning 65 and they send you all kinds of junk and call you 24 hours a day. It's a nightmare. So a lot of people throw away their official package with their official Medicare card. They throw it away because they get too much junk. So make sure get that set up. And then because Medicare has a lot of gaps, Medicare Part A, Part B, you need something to cover the gaps. And Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, you need Part D plan, and all the rest of it. And again, you can call a chapter and they can help you out. All of these rules and regulations, no way the average American keep up with it all. I agree. That's kind of why I'm doing this. And again, you paid all those decades you paid into FICA, you paid for your future retirement benefits and your disability benefits and survivor benefits, but you also paid for someone to help you. You prepaid for someone at the Social Security office to walk you through all the programs and spend time with you and make sure you're doing the right thing. But politicians refuse to give that money to the Social Security offices so they can hire people and train people to do that. Why? Because they want Social Security to be as incompetent, as terrible as it possibly can. So we will just say, oh, the whole thing sucks and forget about it. Just go ahead and give it to Wall Street. So every time we say that, and we're just basically we're feeding into their trick. But my audience, y'all are smarter than that. So how does your Social Security advisement work? Advisement. This is it. I answer questions. 99.9% is, I answer these questions. I'm here pretty much every day, it seems like. I think I'm going to miss Christmas Day, but I'm doing this 7 days a week. Question and answers for the Medicare C's and D's and supplements. I've got chapter there. I do a very limited amount, just a couple of 3 a day, sometimes private one-on-one consultations, but I charge for those to pay for the computers and all that other kind of stuff. But 99.9% of help here is free. Let's see here. Let me jump around. If my last month of work will be October 2025, will be 66 and 8 months then. When should I file to begin to receive my Social Security check? November or August? Yeah, a couple 3 months before is fine. But between now and then, please check your earnings record. Go into Social Security, SSA.gov, set up a My Social Security account. It's difficult sometimes to set up, but it's difficult for a reason, so other people won't go in there and pretend to be you and cause you trouble. Go in there and check your earnings record. All those decades you worked and paid into Social Security, make sure they look right, because that's how your check for the rest of your life will be determined. And please, everybody, tell all those young people around you in their 20s and 30s and 40s, tell them to go in there and check their earnings record on a yearly basis. Because if they don't, 20, 30 years from now, when they go to file for retirement, they might have a gap there that's missing, and now they can't fix it and they lost the records. And so it becomes a nightmare to fix it later. So please check your earnings record. Tell everybody to check their earnings record. So about 2 or 3 months before. But remember, if you're going to be your full retirement age next year in October, between January and September, you can make $62,160. So if you're going to be under that, I would kick around the idea of maybe starting your benefits in January, you know? So at least kick around the idea, and it'll be reduced, but you'll get all those checks, 9 months worth of checks ahead of the game. So definitely check that out. And if you're already if you already filed for Medicare, because you're 66 and 8 months, if you already filed for Medicare, to start your monthly benefits is easy. because you've already done the tough job, proving your date of birth and your name and your citizenship or legal status in the United States. You've already done the difficult stuff when you signed up for Part A or Part B or Part A and Part B or whatever. So to start the money is very, very easy. But if you haven't, remember, if you're currently working and have health insurance from work, you do not have to sign up for Part B. Save yourself the $185. Don't waste $185. If you're working or your spouse is working, you have health insurance from that current work, and your employer has 20 or more employees, you do not have to sign up for Part B. Don't waste the money. When you stop working a year, 2 years, 10 years later, then you go ahead and sign up for Part B, and there's no penalty whatsoever. You just have to fill out a couple of forms. This is the government after all. There's always forms. I have a plan A, but I am penalized for plan B. Can I obtain supplement N or G? Yes. So you have Medicare Part A, but you signed up for Part B late and you didn't have health insurance from work and stuff like that. So you're penalized. Sounds like you're penalized, and you're penalized 10% for every 12 months. So if you're 12 months late signing up for Part B, then you're paying 10%, above and beyond. So next year it's $185. So you're paying an extra $18.50 a month for your Part B. Can you attain a supplement plan N or G? It really depends on what state you're in, and it depends on when your Part B started, or it depends on whether you're healthy or not. So it could very well get one. And so you can reach out to chapter there, and they can tell you if you're eligible for a supplement without any health or underwriting, or it depends what state. And they'll go over all the options and give you quotes on how much an N is, what a G, and what are the difference between an N and a G, and all that. Make sure you also, a lot of people, when they sign up for a Medicare supplement, they fail to sign up for a Part D plan. And if you don't sign up for a Part D, the prescription drug plan, guess what? You're penalized as well. And people often, they sign up for a Medicare supplement, and then they tell whoever helps them sign up, so, oh, I don't need a prescription drug. I don't take drugs. And the person says, okay, fine, bye, because they don't make money on the prescription drugs. It's, enrolling you on that plan. So they just do a terrible service and don't help you. And you have to sign up for a Part D. If you don't, then you're penalized, even if you're not taking drugs. So there's that. Be sure to like the video. It gets the YouTube algorithm going. Yes, please like and subscribe and share and comment and all that kind of stuff. And that helps. It pays it forward. Go out there into the community and help people and says, hey, are you getting all the benefits? Well, maybe you should go, ask Ed a question. But anytime you press like and subscribe, it goes out to more people, and more people see this information. So you was given misinformation plan B. Can I refute all penalties and obtain plan B since I was not informed of what I was supposed to do? If Social Security Administration ever, again, Part B, we're talking about Medicare Part B, if you were given incorrect information somehow by the Social Security Administration, then you can definitely refute it. You submit an SSA 561, a request for reconsideration of the penalty. But if you were given incorrect information by a Medicare insurance agent or someone like that, then unfortunately, no. No. Let's see here. If you haven't started collecting Social Security by now, the common sense of collecting on time is zero. Going to appointments makes it a longer for benefits, and that's what the government wanted to achieve. Um, I mean, but in terms of the actual Social Security employees, they don't care whether you file now or wait till you're 70 or 67 or don't file at all. They don't care. I mean, I know. They don't care. You come in and say, I want to file at 62. They're not going to say, oh, you should wait till you say no. They'll just say, they used to, about 10, 15 years ago, they used to run kind of the estimate. They say, well, if you don't start your benefits now, then it's going to take 14 years to make up the difference. And then the government, so Social Security came down and says, don't tell people that anymore. That's a kind of a financial decision. We're not financial advisors. We just help people navigate the bureaucracy. So they stopped doing that. But Social Security employees, especially now, they're so inundated. They don't have time to give you, really the help that you really need. And you come in and you say, I want this, they give you this, and they go on to their next, 50 appointments that day. And that's one of the giant problems is if you just go in there and say, I need a hammer, guess what? You're going to get a hammer. But you actually needed a screwdriver. You needed you needed a saw. You should have filed for survivor benefits instead of retirement benefits. You should have filed for independently entitled divorce spouse benefits instead of this. You should have filed for disability instead of retirement. But people just go in there, I want this. Okay, done. Bye. And yeah, that's unfortunate. So why is the government refusing to pay our Social Security income during the okay, yeah, already answered that one. Can you explain totalization in some detail? I'm 65 on Social Security, living primarily in Canada. Thank you. Yeah, totalization agreements. There are totalization agreements with a lot of different countries. It's basically that there's a contract agreement between the United States and Canada or Japan or England or France or whatever the case may be that will recognize a portion of their Social Security system. They'll recognize a portion of our Social Security system. And if you're not completely insured, you don't have the 10 years of coverage in the United States, you can use some of the quarters that you accumulated in the Social Security system in Canada. So that's pretty much it. The problem with totalization is you go into the local office and you take a totalization claim. It's not processed at the local office. It's processed back in Baltimore at the Office of International Operations, and they are really, really behind the eight ball. And yeah, those take forever. So if you call the local Social Security office and say, "Hey, I've been waiting 6 months," and they say, "Sorry, I can't." They really can't do anything. Yeah, it's another terrible system. Is the payment benefit allowed for SSDI based on your PIA at FRA without ever early penalty? Yes, yes. So SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, is your benefit amount if you had waited until your full retirement age. Yep. Um, what can you do when you go to Social Security and told you need to go to a location near you and they won't see you at that location? You say, I'm sorry. When I walked into the building, there was a big sign that says Social Security Administration. Here are my checks for the past 50 years that say I paid into the Social Security Administration. So help me and shut up. No, sorry. Don't say the last part. But yeah, that's one of the reasons my office was one of the busiest in the country. We had two other offices in our city, but everybody came to our office because we had customer service. And so, yeah, they will tell you that, hey, by the way, based on your zip code, there's another office close by. And you go say, yeah, I just don't like the parking. I don't like the people. I don't like the color of the walls. I like y'all better. Um, and so they got to help you. So if they don't, then you complain. So you can go to any Social Security office. If you're filing for disability, the only kind of limitation on that, if you're filing for disability, your disability case is determined in the particular state you live in. So if you live near the state line, you want to go to a Social Security office across the state, then that's probably stay within the state. But you can go anywhere you want. So don't let them tell you can't. So there's that. Should I collect in months before full retirement age? It really depends on you. Yeah, there is. Are you healthy? Do you need the money? Longevity in your family? All the rest of it. So there's tons of questions you have to ask yourself. I got my first RIB check, retirement insurance benefit. Using the lingo there. I like it. In August 2024, do I still receive? Yeah, everybody receives COLA. Yes, everybody receives COLA once COLA is determined. And I'm going to do a video on this. You got to play the YouTube, algorithm and, all the, so I might have to do a video about why did Trump only give us 2.5% COLA? And because that's what some people ask, and why did Biden give us the 2.5%, or why did Trump, whatever. So it is kind of clickbaitish, but the point is it's not political. The 2.5 and the 8.7 and the 3.2 and all that, it's zero political. That was taken out of the political realm in the early 1970s. It's 100%. The Department of Labor Statistics looks at a bunch of a basket of goods last year, looks at the same basket of goods this year, and says prices went up 2.5%, and that's how it's determined. So president or political parties have no say in it whatsoever. So, but the political part of that is that needs to change. The basket of goods that they look at are for younger people predominantly. They need to look at a basket of goods for elderly people, those people on retirement. And if that was changed, then the COLA for next year might have been 2.7, 3, 3.2, little bit more. So, hey, a little bit more, every little bit helps, right? Um, so yeah, so I apologize sometimes for sometimes I might go a tad bit too far, get a little bit clickbaity and stuff, but it's something I really want people to pay attention to. So I apologize for sometimes going a tad bit too far in some people's eyes. But anyway, got to play the game, fight fire with fire sometimes, right? Dr. Weir, do you happen to know the cap to receive help from the Medicare Savings Program? It really depends on your state. I've had people usually 15, 16, $1,700, anything under 2,000, 1,800. I would definitely reach out to your Medicaid office. So the Medicare Savings Program is again, it's not again. I didn't talk about it specifically, but anyway, Medicare Savings Program is you go to the Medicaid office and you apply for Medicaid, and if you're approved, they pay for your Part B of Medicare, and that's called the Medicare Savings Program. So, but some people, um, it depends on the state. I've had people that were in one state and they got Medicaid, and they moved to another state and they lost Medicaid because one state in your income they did not count your Social Security benefits, and the other state they did count your Social Security benefits. So yes. What about this $1,400 stimulus? My son was over 17, but still dependent because he is disabled and did not get anything for him. Will I get anything? Yeah. The stimulus that speaking of clickbait, that is, I don't, yeah, I'm not that terrible in terms of clickbait on this one. There's a lot of people out there that do the clickbait on stimulus, and they do it seems like on a monthly basis. Oh, the stimulus is coming. And have you heard about the stimulus? And here's the trick. I'll pop you up. Here's how you tell if there's a stimulus. If you see one of these pictures like this, then you know there's an actual stimulus. Anything else is just clickbait. What it is the president of the United States standing in front of a bunch of flags with a podium and saying, patting themselves on the back and say, I am so awesome. I am going to give you money because $600 in one lump sum, or $600 this, or $1,400 or 2,000 or free ice cream and unicorns, or whatever the case may be. And until you see that on the nightly news of them, the words coming out of their mouth, I am giving you $1,400. Don't believe it. It's all clickbait. So ignore it. So there's that. Until you see that, don't believe it. All right, we're running out of time. Let me jump down and let's see if I find anything that anybody that I don't recognize here before asking a question. Clarify which Social Security agent have an issue and say that he can't switch after he starts collecting his over to my Social Security. Social Security have an issue and say that he can't switch after he starts collecting his over to my Social Security. Yeah, not exactly sure. Maybe that yeah, a lot of people think they can switch. They don't switch, they just add one on top of the other. So if you're currently collecting Social Security retirement benefits and you're eligible for spouse benefits, you don't switch. You continue to get retirement benefits on your own record, plus you add spouse benefits or divorce spouse benefits or surviving spouse benefits, divorce spouse or spouse benefits on top, one minus the other. So yes. All right, let's see. Oh, Jackie, oh, 9.99. Oh, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. Happy holidays. Thank you. You're too awesome. Thank you. Got my coffee IV for the day. Oh, it looks like a good recommendation. People can avoid long wait lists for housing. Go to yes. I forgot to mention that. Awesome. Thank you. Go to new projects at the city or property management of your city of choice. Then find out when their late wait list will start. Yes. Thank you, feminine. Yes, another way to get it. Go check out the new projects, because a lot of the new projects, the city or the state says, okay, you're going to build X, but you also have to build X amount of affordable housing for people and stuff. And if you get ahead of the game and you've got that inside scoop, then yes, perfect. Thank you for that. What an awesome community we have here, right? You guys are awesome. All right. Well, this will be the last one. I have insurance through my wife. Excuse me. When I received the cold letter, I saw they were taking $185 for Medicare, but I never signed up. What do I need to do? I'm 61. Um, Okay. Okay. You're 61, so you're receiving disability benefits. You started receiving Medicare after being on disability for 2 years. So, yes, same type of thing. Just as when you turn 65, you're signed up for Medicare automatically if you're currently receiving benefits. Same thing with disability. If you're on disability after 24 months, they automatically sign you up for Part A and Part B. You have to keep the Part A, but that's zero premium per month. But the B, if you have health insurance from current work, your wife's work as well, that's fine. As long as her group health plan had 20 or more employees, then I would call Social Security and say, no, thank you. I don't want the $185. I don't want to pay the $185. I don't want Part B. And they'll go ahead and cancel it out. So, and then when your wife stops working and you stop receiving health insurance from that work, then you go ahead and sign up for Part B. So, yes, and last word, please raise the cap. Yes, please raise the FICA cap so everybody pays it just like the rest of us schmoes, right? All righty, that is it for today. Thank you. Another support. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. All right, I will be back again tomorrow. And if I didn't get to your questions today, I apologize. Just ran out of time. I will be back again.